Hello, this is some additions of visual effects to my robot scene. I'll start off with talking about the particles that I added. I added 3 particle systems. You can see them here. You have, first of all, the butterflies. I have just kind of flying around and animating the particle for a few seconds. The particles eventually fade out. There's some in the distance there. And so that's that. Occasionally there's sparks that shoot out of the robot. You can see here. Kind of orange. They have a emission. They also go through a little bit of a color change, but the emission sort of takes over. And that's semi-random in bursts. And then the third particle I have is this snow that you can see falling. And so yeah, there's kind of a box of snow. It's only a specific area, so you can see. Ooh, I lost the robot. It's not really snowing like over here, you know. It's just snowing around this guy, and sort of off in the distance because I wanted the main perspective to be right here. And then you probably noticed sometimes the screen gets all odd. That's because I have programmed in the visual effect of the screen kind of turning icy and blue when you look up. So if you start to look up, you can see it fades in, this kind of blue iciness, and then you look down and it fades out. And that's just kind of I programmed that in. Yeah, so I'll go over each of these things now. I'll start off with the particles. So you got your butterflies. You can see them here. There's about 7 at a time. They're slightly varied in size, and they have some speed. A lot of their movement is based on noise. I kind of have this floating noise map, and it let's see, yeah. So it doesn't scroll actually, but it kind of gives them that little bit of waviness, and there's a few octaves. Oh no, never mind. There's only 1 octave. I'm thinking of something else. I'm sorry. And yeah, they fade out and fade in. They have a little bit of emission to make them a little more vibrant within the scene, kind of artistically. And they come out of, if you can see on the left here, they come out of a torus shape, kind of so that none spawn right in the focus in the middle, but they kind of spawn around it. And so they all spawn around this torus shape and then float and flutter around. The ones in the background here, I just have a small box that they form in, and there's 3 there, much less. It's getting a little bit crazy. There you go. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. My computer's chugging here. So yeah. Anyways, next you got your sparks on the guy. Where is he? There he is. Ooh, really losing it here. So sparks are very simple particles. Most of it is kind of in this burst here. There's a 70% chance that every second and a half it'll shoot out 15 sparks. There isn't actually a particle. So the particle color is the alpha is turned all the way off, and it's all in the trail. So they're actually just particle trails, which is why they're lines, and why they kind of get longer as the particle goes faster. I have gravity turned on. Let's see, 4 to 0.1, so it's also randomized by particle, so some of them float a little bit more than others. And like I said earlier, they have a bit of an emission to make them glow, but underneath it there's this sort of particle spark gradient. And lastly, there's the snow. Oh yeah, look at that stuttering. I think it's so beautiful, but it's got some -1 and 1 for the let's see, velocity over lifetime. So the velocity of lifetime is randomized on the x and the z between -1 and 1. So some of them blow a little to the right, some of them a little to the left. That's what makes them a little more chaotic. And then the speed is between -1 and 2. So some of them fall faster or slower than others. Let's see, I don't have any noise because they're kind of chaotic enough with just that left and right randomization. And yeah, I don't think, yeah, I don't know. So there's about 100 on the screen at once. I could have more, but like I said, my computer's chugging. They kind of die pretty soon after they go through the ground, and they're just in this one box area, which is actually pretty big because I didn't want it to be just around this guy. And there's also, I think it's in the renderer, but I have a max size. I think that's the default, but basically, if you get really close, you don't want to see giant part of snows like in your face. So on the screen space, they're like restricted in size. And so that's the snow. Then the last thing I can go over is that icy overlay, which happens just when the camera looks up over a certain threshold. It fades in this image that I made in Photoshop. Let's see. I'll just pull up this script. There you go, icy overlay. So it's very simple. You've got an image here on the canvas. It's also in the sky there, and it's this. It's got a script on it where it takes the player camera, it takes the image earlier and an ICE alpha value. And what happens is I also have it in the console. But yeah, you read the camera X, right? And as soon as it goes over -0.3 I have in the code, it slowly increases that ICE alpha. There you go. And that's pretty much it. It goes below it, it decreases it. And you can see the script here. There's really nothing else to it. And one interesting thing was that you can't directly modify the, if you go to image, you can't modify this image color.a. So you have to make your own like temporary color. So I have a temp color, and I changed the A of that and then set it as the overlays color. And that's about it. So thanks, bye.